Leader of the third party.
Thank you, Honourable Speaker. Fracking, which is how methane gas used in LNG facilities is extracted in BC, uses huge amounts of water, between 5 million and 100 million litres per frac. Fracking is linked to higher rates of cancer, asthma, low birth rates, and other serious health concerns. It causes earthquakes. It leads to sour gas leaks and loss of agricultural land. It results in methane leaks, flaring, venting. The list goes on. Because of the risk fracking poses to human health, the environment, and the climate, 5 Canadian provinces, 5 U.S. states, and several countries have either banned or paused fracking. California is expected to ban fracking this year. BC is one of the few jurisdictions that is hell-bent on expanding methane gas and growing the fossil fuel industry while climate disasters wreak havoc on our communities and ecosystems. My question is to the Premier. Will his government stop issuing permits for more fracking wells and develop plans to phase out methane gas extraction in BC?
Minister of Environment.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. And the member claims that we're hell-bent on expanding methane emissions in British Columbia, and yet we're the only jurisdiction in Canada to announce in detail exactly what a cap on emissions from the oil and gas sector will look like. We have ambitious but achievable methane reduction targets, and we're in fact ahead of the schedule for methane reduction that we set for ourselves a few years ago, and we will continue to reduce methane emissions in the oil and gas sector by 75% by 2030. We have a rich and vibrant system of both permitting and regulation of the oil and gas industry, as well as of methane emissions and other emissions, and we'll continue on that course.
Supplemental.
Thank you, Honourable Speaker. Under this government, we are the only jurisdiction in Canada that's gone from 0 to 6 climate bombs in the form of potential LNG facilities. Yeah. From 0 to 6 under this government. Methane gas. Before being sworn in, the Premier stated, quote, "We cannot continue to expand fossil fuel infrastructure and hit our climate goals." On that, he wasn't wrong. This government pretends that they are climate leaders, yet BC has missed every climate target it ever set for itself to date. Building 6 LNG projects, increasing fracked gas production to supply these projects will make it impossible to meet our goals. And it will make us into global laggards when it comes to climate action. The only reason we have a fracked gas industry in BC is because this NDP government decided to give it a $5.5 billion startup gift in the form of subsidies and tax breaks. And now we're extracting more and more methane gas, which is 80 times worse than CO2 for climate impacts. My question is to the Premier. Will he stand up and stand by his comment that we cannot continue to expand fossil fuel infrastructure, and promise to British Columbians that he will stop issuing more permits for fracking in this province?
Minister.
Thank you very much, Chair. It saddens me that the member focuses on our climate efforts by talking about a single industry instead of recognizing the breadth of the program that we worked on together, the Green Party and the BC NDP, called Clean BC. It's in transportation, it's in industrial emission reductions, it's in home heating and cooling, and we are systematically putting in place the building blocks to meet our targets in 2030. We're leading in Canada, we're leading in North America, and what we introduced with respect to both clean energy and existing energy after the selection of the new Premier was the new Energy Action Framework, which has a clean energy and major projects office. We're attracting significant investments in battery through E1 Moly. We are seeking to attract hydrogen proponents. We are building out our electricity infrastructure, and we are implementing the first oil and gas emissions cap in Canada, and we are on track to meet our commitments.